Hey there. How y'all doing this morning? This is Data coming back at you from getting ready to get started this morning at about 6:30 a.m. A little bit before that, actually. Had a good night's rest at this shelter last night, and I have 3 objectives today, which is part of why I'm starting early. Let's just say, there's like a short, medium, and long goal, and I'm gonna start heading off on the short goal now. We'll see how the day goes. I'm trying to play it by ear, which is not my strong suit. So we'll see how this goes. But anyway, I did want to say good morning and hope your day is getting off to as good a start as mine is. I'm only about 2 miles from M.Y.T.H Gap. There's one of my first blazes of the day. One of the things I really enjoy about being on trail early in the morning is hiking into dawn and the sunrise. Well, happy sunrise from M.Y.T.H Gap. It's about 7:30. Covered about 2 miles. The moon is still up too. So I think that's officially sunrise. There's other folks who've stopped here to enjoy that also. That is sunrise at the Three Ridges Overlook on the Blue Ridge Parkway. So I'm about 1/10 of a mile south of one of the streams coming out of M.Y.T.H Gap, about 4.5 miles into my day. And this blowdown is sitting right in the middle of the path, so be careful coming across this. I'm halfway through it too. There's half of it behind me still. So this great big tree has come down recently right on top of the trail. This is a big double spring, or double stream. Just past that blowdown you can see right there. It is gushing water today. So. I am 5.4 miles in on the day. And this is my first break. Hey there, it's about 9:30. I've gone 5.4 miles in the first 3 hours of the day. So I'm doing pretty well. I'm going to do a better job today of trying to actually take breaks and hydrate and fuel up as I go. See if that helps any. That's a piece of advice I got from a couple of more experienced hikers in the last couple of days. So yeah, I'm going to have about a 15-minute break and I'll be back at it again. I am humping it up Humpback Mountain. And I came to a big stone wall, which I get to climb up right over there in a minute. But for now, I get to stand in the shade for a minute and breathe. It's about 11 o'clock. I've got about 7.5 miles. So I'm still moving at a pretty good pace, but I'll know when I summit Humpback here in an hour and a half or so
what kind of shape I'm in for today's goals. But Humpback Mountain was the first goal, and my hope was to be up and over it by 1 o'clock. So the closer to Rockfish Gap I get, it's still 13 or so miles away, but the more it feels like the Shenandoah National Park in terms of having nice big cruisy paths like this one, really well maintained, and even big rock wall features probably left over from all of the farmers who used to own this land. Once again, the Appalachian Trail proving it's a different kind of a trail day to day sometimes. This is a long rock wall. Okay, I just came up that way. Off in the distance you'll see the Wintergreen Resort, where they still have snow on the slopes. And I'm going this direction, as noted by that little white blaze painted on that rock right there. I will of course go to the left of the blaze, not to the right of it. Hey, not much. Got a couple of hikers down there. I made it to Humpback Mountain. It's only 12:15, so time for lunch break. Well, I finished a half an hour break up on Humpback Mountain and ran into Rope, who's an older hiker and a friend of Mushroom's. He and Mushroom camped together last night, so she's about half a day ahead of me. Now, she and her dog Nellie. And I'm northbound off Humpback Mountain, and it is not yet 1 o'clock. So that was my first goal for the day, and I got to it nice and early. It's not exclusively downhill from now on, but mostly. And I have about 5.5 miles to go to the Paul Wolf Shelter. So we'll see how long that takes me. So we'll see if I can descend any more efficiently than I ascended. Hopefully I can. I usually can. This hike was pretty easy, just long so far. Lots of water everywhere on Far Out. It's a note to hikers in the future. Everywhere on Far Out that it says there's water, even if it's an intermittent water source. Here at the beginning of March, there's plenty of water in it, not just a little. So now as I'm coming down off of Humpback, I get to hike out following one of these old original settler built rock walls right up close. A minute ago I actually got to cut through it. There was a place where the AT goes right through it. So it's about 2:30 and I'm heading down toward Paul Wolf Shelter, and I'm not really that far away, maybe a couple of miles. So I'm going to get into Paul Wolf kind of early, and that was my second objective for the day, and really that was the one that I thought would play out. But this path is just practically like an old Forest Service road bed, gently graded. So far, at least, not too many obstacles. I even broke into little slow jogs at a couple of points. It was so cruisy. So I'll have some decisions to make, or a decision to make, when I get to the Paul Wolf Shelter about, do I keep going for a little while and find a campsite, or do I go ahead and try to hike out to Rockfish Gap, which at that point would be another 5 miles. I don't know. And you can see this is about as easy a path to hike as I could want. So I crossed paths with Manta again, the guy I met this morning, and he was low on water, and so I gave him a little of mine, and I still have 1.5 liters left, and I think I'm probably at about the 8-mile mark if I was to go all the way to Rockfish. Don't know if I'll go that far or not, but so this is the Paul Wolf Shelter, and the stream in front of it is flowing like mad. I am going to top off my water, and there's the shelter up on the hill. I think, since it is not yet 4 o'clock, I am going to try to hike out today. That was my third goal or destination. I didn't know how it would go throughout the day, but it's gone very well. So I have about 4.7 miles from here to Rockfish Gap. It's about 4 o'clock. I will probably get there right as the sun sets, but my headlamp is charged, so top off and get back to hiking here after a little bit of a break. Okay, this blowdown is about 0.2 of a mile north of the Paul Wolf Shelter, and northbound I had to crawl under the first part and then over the other two. This one needs some help, I think, because that is a mess. It's a great big tree. Maybe a pair of them came down pretty recently. Be careful if you come across these, because that was a mess. Not the way I really wanted to start that last 4 miles of the 20-mile day. This is the W.J. Mayo home place. But at one point this was a fine place to live. A great view out over the valley. You might be able to tell by the shadows on the trail that I'm beginning to lose the daylight. It's just a little bit before 5, but this will be a first for me that I will have been hiking today from sunup to sundown. And I think when it's all told, knock wood, I will have covered 20 miles in about 14 hours of hiking, something like that. I was able to change my hotel room from tomorrow to today. Hasn't been as much filming this afternoon because on one hand I've been hustling it to get this hike in, and the other, a lot of the trails look like this. So it's a pretty nice track of the Appalachian Trail, but it's, dirt floor. It's pretty well worn. Seems like it probably gets a lot of popular day hikers traffic, other than a couple of big blowdowns I came across. Well, I'm about 2 miles from Rockfish Gap and being finished. And wouldn't you know, the Appalachian Trail would have to treat me with one last water crossing. A little waterfall. Well, folks, there you have it. It's 6:30, so almost exactly 12 hours. So 12 hours after I left the Maupin Field Shelter this morning, and 20 plus miles later, here I am at Rockfish Gap, tying together my footsteps. So when I got to Rockfish Gap, I couldn't find a shuttle ride to my hotel, so I just called Uber and got a ride back into the city that way.